Dear friends, followers and future followers, Lennartworldwidewhat is now quite exactly 1 year old. So we have 6 months of publishing videos, and we have 12 months of working on the actual product. And in this video, I want to give you a brief tour of how this whole project Lennartworldwidewhat felt like in the past 12 months.
So guys, the eagle has landed. What are you doing, man?
I don't know. I'm trying to fix it.
So 12 months ago, we traveled to Ghana to shoot the first 2 stories for this channel. One story, and that was kind of like the idea behind it from day one, was like we want to portray a country, a foreign country, in 2 ways. We want to show you and give you some information, some background of something that this country is extremely known for, you know, something rather positive, and you know, something that is a little bit more of a challenge.
Hey there, this time on Worldwidewhat, I'm in Ghana researching the so-called fast fashion crisis, and I had no idea what I'd find.
We did spend our first day in Ghana in one of the most toxic places on earth, which is Akbogloshi. And it was a hell of an experience, I can tell you. One can feel the devastating effects of our world economy. Because there you can see it, you can touch it, and you can feel it, and it doesn't feel good. And it doesn't feel good for the people that we saw there. It doesn't feel good for the kids that have to work there. I think also our team, we were a small team consisting of Moritz, our main DOP, who was also responsible for most of the camera work in the past month. So thank you as well, Moritz, for your support. It consisted of the local DOP, Dennis, and the local journalist and colleague, Isaac. So this small team, us 4, we started at another end of this old e-waste recycling hub there.
We are at the infamous illegal dump in the Akbogloshi neighborhood, once dubbed Sodom and Gomorrah by locals and even government officials because of the ecological catastrophe, crime and poverty.
So this is Akbogloshi here, but that was clear.
I mean, this place used to be a place for the electronic waste that Ghana was really known for. This whole site was used to be that place. But you can see that it's empty because it's been cleared. It means that effort is being made to actually deal with the issue of electronic waste in Ghana. So this place won't be the hub as you see anymore.
Yeah.
You can still see some remnants of people still extracting.
So that was how it was back in the days, everything filled with...
It was worse than, I mean, so you can say even 100 times of what you're seeing.
100 times?
Yes.
Isaac, I think, wanted us to stay where we were, in safe distance to the place where there are still burners, and you know, where there's still like this huge mountain of trash there. And he was like, oh yeah, we can't go any further from here because there is a river. And I was like, yeah, of course there's a river, but let's go to the other side of the river by car or whatever, then because we want to go closer. And he was not so sure if that was a good idea, but then we just went. And then by accident we met Richard, who was a super cool guy, and he was our kind of entry card to go into this a little bit separated world.
The slum with around 80,000 residents is mostly connected to the electricity grid, but still has no real water supply. A private bathroom or toilet is a rare commodity for many here at home, Isaac tells me, so there are public restrooms.
The much bigger problem then, of course, is that there is a huge, crazy mountain of trash. And the recyclers, proud people, they can recycle almost everything and anything, but this fast fashion trash, they can't do shit with it, and that is a real big problem. I think the problem with working internationally is that you constantly need to adapt to the reality on the ground. I wanted to express this also in the movie by you know, not only showing how bad everything is, but also showing what the other side of the reality is, that people are making use of the clothes, and their livelihood depends on these clothes, and there is a big like sub-economy, if you want, that is really making use of these clothes.
We're back at the Cantamanto market. This is where the waste comes from. Almost everything was shipped here by sea in such bales in overseas containers. And this is the teacher. He too is a wheel in the local value chain.
Try my best to keep up the speed, but competing with the master is almost impossible.
What an awesome job, which makes him at least $16 a day, and on a regular basis, some hefty burns, he says.
It's so fucking hot here, man.
In Ghana, Isaac, my colleague, really tried to keep us out of trouble. He did an excellent job. You know, there were so many people approaching us because, you know, of course we were white, and then filming there, and then filming on this delicate kind of topics. It was interesting to see that you have to pay, or we had to pay for so many things, you know, like just like what German or in other countries, let's say licenses, papers, documents are. Over there is just money, some donations, you might call them, you know. There was this one picture, I loved that, it was on the market in Accra. Of course, also there we donated several times on this day. But there was this beautiful sticker saying, "Givers never lack," and it's not true.
Crazy. This time I'm in Ukraine, meeting soldiers of the so-called Army of Drones.
So there we are, somewhere deep in the woods.
And we look around where fierce fighting took place, the hotspots in the beginning of the Russian invasion, Bucha, Borodyanka.
It's just pure evil, it's like animal state.
This whole project kind of like evolved. We were filming for a documentary in the Ukraine for Arte, the German, French public television channel, and we were also filming a little episode there with Sahi. Crazy story that is kind of like emblematic for what is happening in Ukraine these days. Serhiy used to be a drone photographer doing these iconic pictures of Kyiv. When the war broke out, his family they left the country, went to Germany, and he stayed there. And now he's training the drone operators.
My famous group.
The training takes 2 weeks until the instructors are satisfied because the conditions at the front are challenging at best.
There is no GPS on the battlefield. You need to keep drone stable with your hands, with the sticks, and you need to do it fast.
And this story, I really expected it to lift the channel up a little bit because it was so current. It was such a newsy topic, and then you know there was this exclusive access we had. I think it was also kind of cool that we really were able to talk to them. I mean, it was not frontline footage, but at the end of the day, for me, it was impressive to see how they prepare for what is happening on the front lines. this absurd reality for the Ukrainians these days. You know, like morning in the trenches and the afternoon in Kyiv, eating I don't know, sushi or bowl and having a soy decaf latte.
In case you wonder how things are here in Kyiv these days, I mean, it's mid-April, over a year after the invasion. But as you can see, traffic is running, shops are open, you can get your cappuccino and your stuff, so life goes on, of course, with some limitations. Okay, come on, let's go, let's cross here now.
This was like so absurd, and like also seeing this while we were there, it was crazy. There will be another episode coming up. Have a look.
Third time, fourth time, like it's permanently going off, but I think we should get the hell out of here. It's time to leave.
For me, it's the first time in a country where people have to live in this destructive war times, and honestly speaking, I had no idea how mental this is.
And this is not something to work out here, but this is from the Ukrainian trains. If I want to break it down for me, what my key takeaways were in Ukraine, then these people are incredible. They fight, and I'm not sure if many other people would do that the way they do it. And for this, they deserve the greatest of respect, the greatest of support. What else did I learn in Ukraine is, you know, war is a reality, and you know there are bad elements out there in the world, namely right now the Russian soldiers and the Russian government.
Left behind are the destruction and misery, and places that gained sad fame like Bucha, Irpin and Borodyanka, which we visit with our Ukrainian crew.
If you guys see that here, how does it make you feel?
And for me, it's always like big, huge black hole inside. Even when you are yourself, you understand you are safe, your family is safe. Seeing this just kind of kills something within you.
I think for me it's just a frustration, you know, I don't understand why.
I was always a pacifist. I never went to military, never wanted to, you know, but afterwards I did understand that, god damn it, we need weapons, as unfortunate as this is, you know, but we need weapons also to defend us from the bad guys.
For me, what I realized being here is that war and all this stuff is so much about messing with the enemy's head, right? It's pure evil, it's like animal state.
What I realized after these first two stories was that we wanted to have something positive. So we came up with this beautiful boxing piece.
Welcome to Bukom, the neighborhood in Ghana's capital, where boxing champions are from.
The people that live in this neighborhood are warriors, people that want to achieve greatness.
This story is just beautiful. I read about it years ago. In a nutshell, the best African boxers come from Ghana. They come from a small neighborhood in Ghana's capital, Accra, called Bukom or Jamestown. And I wanted to know why.
From 1975, Bukom became a big name in the boxing world when fighters from this small neighborhood gained fame. Their names are DK Poison, Iggy Cartey and Azuma Nelson. For many, the best African boxer ever. And this was his gym.
We are going to one of the oldest boxing gyms in Ghana.
During the past 6 months, we had stories that were exclusively produced for this channel, and then we had other stories that were kind of like produced for other occasions or, you know, like in another time. And also Amenia, and everything that we made out of this material was produced in another time.
Ach, das hat schon viel Schönes hier, ne? Ich habe das schon mal gesehen, musst du mal so zupseln oder was, ja? Morgen.
There was so much happening in Armenia with Nagorno-Karabakh and this war happening there between Azerbaijan and Armenia in this disputed area. And then, the exodus of all the Armenian living people, everything was so crazy. And at the same time, we were only able to do more of a travel story about that. What I love very much about the Armenia series is the intro. It's for me, still something creatively that I like because it's just fun to watch.
Oh, that doesn't sound good at all. They're stuck.
We are on the road in Armenia, looking for adventures, good stories and a few nightcaps.
Endlich wieder Mensch sein.
In the last episode, we investigated the origins of system-critical Radio Yerevan and headed south. This time, it's all about the savory side of Armenia.
Aber es gibt ja auch nicht nochmal ein extra Paar Gummistiefel oder so, ne? Das
What I realized during the course of having this channel in the last months was that I wanted to move away from this classic documentary style approach that I had in the beginning to more, let's say, lighter topics and more easygoing topics. I think the worst production for me personally was Serbia. They are probably the most blatant country when it comes to illegal weapons. They don't even know how many they are, but there are so many. And this production was just doomed to fail.
What are you doing, man? I don't know. I'm trying to fix it, but we will see it. If it works.
And I also realized that this negative investigative pieces where you really need to A, have time, and B, really have the guts and the will to dig in the mud was nothing that I felt. I was really wanting to do that at this time. I really love to work in this kind of respect and puzzle things together, but it didn't feel right for YouTube. And so I came up with this new format.
47, 50, 51, 52. Mercedes
is the city with the most Mercedes per capita in Croatia. If you ask Google, yes, but is it really true? Looking at the numbers at some point was painful because 6 months into the game, we are not where we wanted to be with this channel. And when I say we, this is like the investor, the people that are believing in this project, and also myself. And at some point in time, everyone around me, including myself, lost a little bit the confidence that we can lift this baby out of the almost invisible zone on YouTube. Supervising that, it was like a super interesting creative process, because we put out videos that I believe in. I came up with new topics, with new formats, with new stuff, just to realize that they don't really work. And at some point I was even losing a little bit of this feeling that I always had when crafting films, that it's fun, it's I love doing that. It's beautiful. It's like it's great work. I felt it is a little bit too much. We did kind of like 3 projects at once this year. So setting up this YouTube channel, creating a new place for us to live in Berlin here. So a second real construction site with a lot of hassle and permanent changes and never a quiet place to do something. Point number 3. The main reason why I'm gonna go into a little break right now is because this came up. And I think looking at all the videos, looking at all the experiences, thinking of all the people that we met, and you know, like thinking of all the people that we were able to reach with these videos makes me proud and happy of what we achieved. And this is why I don't see this whole investment, this whole endeavor, and this whole Lennartworldwidewhat adventure a failure, because it is ultimately a help for me and for us to grow. I'd be very curious also to hear from you what you liked about this channel, what you didn't like about the channel, because you know, givers never lack. And I really have to say thank you again to all the people that supported this project. First and foremost, of course, Daniel from Autorenkombinat, and all the people who worked behind the camera in the post-production with me. Okay guys, I think that was it. Thank you again and see you soon.
If all the ropes tear, let's go to the Ukrainian canteen.
Den kann ich noch nicht, Wenn alle Stricke reißen, when all the ropes tear, then it's time to get the fuck out of here.